All right, so our next speaker is going to be a couple, Cooper and Hannah. And Hannah is from Boise, Idaho, and grew up around ballroom dancing and running. She started her first career as a hairdresser at age 16, which ultimately led her to meeting Cooper 7 years later. Really cute story, by the way. She received her master's degree from BYU in teaching English as a second language. And Cooper is from Ventura County, California, and started his DJ business in 2009. And he studied business strategy at BYU and worked at Lucid Software before going full-time with his second business in 2020, which is actually a production business, and all of this amazing tech is thanks to him, so he's amazing at that. And they both enjoy paddleboarding and bike riding with their 2 daughters here in Utah. So, go ahead.
Give it up for Hannah and Cooper.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. We're happy to be here. So our topic today is doing good and building wealth through entrepreneurship. So thanks again for that intro. We have 2 girls. They turn 4 and 2 next month, so we'll have a fun birthday party for them. And we have to shout out Centsei because we were able to find them early on in our marriage, and with having businesses, our income fluctuated and does fluctuate month to month, and so having Centsei help guide us in how to budget for that was really helpful and has really helped us establish healthy weekly financial check-ins and budgeting to meet our goals. So we're really grateful for Centsei.
And I'm curious, raise your hand if you were in or have been in the Centsei workshop before. Okay, sweet. So you guys know this. One of my favorite things about Centsei is the his and her budget. It's absolutely amazing. Every single month you have a his money and her money, and I get to spend my money on all of my remote control airplanes. And my wife doesn't even like we don't even have to talk about it because it's already allotted. So I just love Centsei so much, and I'm grateful that we were in it 7 years ago. So let me go ahead and start with our story. So a picture you probably weren't expecting to see is a clown. This was me when I was 14, riding a unicycle, juggling with cool hair, and I could also have someone on my shoulders as I rode the unicycle too. I share this because I want to show you guys kind of our entrepreneurship journey. It started from a passion and then evolved into something a little cooler than being a clown. And when I was a kid, I loved being in front of people. I loved entertaining. I loved going to dances. I loved learning new skills. And I remember entertaining in front of a few groups, juggling and unicycling, and it just filled me up, and I loved it. When I was 16, the girls didn't think being a clown was the coolest thing, but they did think that DJing was kind of cool. And I remember I would go to these dances for church and school in California and see these DJs up on the stage just creating such a cool experience for everyone. And it really lit me up and created a passion that didn't exist before. And so since then, I started my DJ business in 2009, and it's evolved into something that's been fantastic. It's a huge passion of mine that I've turned into our business. I do a lot of high-end luxury weddings now. I DJed for Lamborghini 2 months ago when they unveiled a brand new car. Tonight I'll be at the very top of Park City at the very top of the mountain DJing a wedding. And it's just been so much fun to be able to do that. And we've been blessed to receive 7 Best of State awards. And I share that with you just so you can see the progression of I love being a clown, and that passion turned into this.
So with the DJ company, we had some lighting services that we offered through DJing, and we had clients start to reach out and ask if they could just hire us for lighting and not for the DJing. So we formed a second business called Charisma Event Productions. At the end of 2019, we had a business plan for this, and our first products were lighting projections. So the bottom right, you can see a couple's name and their wedding date on the fireplace. And then the bottom left, you can see there's colored lighting around the room. So those were our first services at the end of 2019. And then at the beginning of 2020, we decided that Cooper would go full-time with these 2 businesses and leave his day job at Lucid. I had a teaching contract full-time at BYU that ended in August, and that's when we were expecting our first baby. So we felt like that was a good time, and it was for 6 weeks. And then COVID canceled within the span of a few weeks. Every single one of our weddings canceled. And that was our main source of income because that was the business that had been around for a while.
It was super scary. And I remember being optimistic, thinking like, oh, COVID's gonna last like 2, maybe 3 months, and then we'll be back up. And what's interesting is, I've noticed that a lot of my entrepreneurship journey has just been opportunities. It's fine. that keep popping up. And so I remember someone calling me a month after COVID hit, and they said, hey, Cooper, can you live stream our wedding? And I paused, and I said, yes. Yes, I can. I had no clue how to do it. And the wedding was in 3 weeks. Oh, this still works, sorry. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, hold on. That's great, thank you. Okay, hold on. Oh, it turned off, that's why. Okay. No, it's over there. Okay, good. Awesome. And so I said yes, and I figured out how to live stream it. And 4 weeks later, I had 3 wireless cameras up on the top of a mountain in Park City. I had a drone flying over by, and then I brought this internet bonded device that was crazy that I rented from a company, and I live streamed this wedding, and the drone followed the bride down the aisle, and it was the coolest thing ever. And I've learned that a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurship come like that. It's simply just saying, yes, I can do that, even though you can't at the moment. And so since then, we've evolved to live streaming graduations, top left, dance competitions. I've been to so many hours of dance competitions. Workshops, bottom left, and then bottom right are corporate events. And that all came because of an opportunity. And then once COVID became less of a thing, people stopped hiring us for live streaming because people could come in person to events. And so we had to make another pivot. And so we pivoted towards full audio-visual AV production. So top left, you'll see a conference for New Skin, all that lighting on the Silac wall right there. We do live streams for corporations, bottom left. On the right is Rachel Platten, who sings Fight Song. We produced a concert for her. And we do all of the screens, the lighting, the audio, the stages, the backdrop, and all of the team members to do everything. And again, that evolved just from an opportunity that came up. And what's been really cool about this growth in the companies between the DJ company and the production company is our team's been able to grow too. So on the left side is our production company, right side is our DJ company, and it's been really neat to be able to involve other people in our businesses, not because it is great to offload work, but it's also cool to see other people who believe in what you're doing and who are supporting something that you love. And that's been a part of entrepreneurship that I've really, really enjoyed.
So our objectives, hopefully you can be inspired a little bit from our introduction, but we also want to talk about how entrepreneurship and owning businesses can facilitate your own wealth building and giving back. So we'll start with that. So building wealth through entrepreneurship. With a salary day job, your income is typically capped. You have a certain amount you make each year, and you may have some bonuses, you may have raises every now and then. Whereas when you own your own business, the income is not set. That could mean $0. That also could mean the sky's the limit. So you have a high risk there, which absolutely can pay off. So before we went full-time with the businesses, this was our side hustle. And that meant with building financial wealth, our day jobs were able to meet our needs. And with that wealth that we generated from our side hustle, we were able to start investing and achieve goals quicker with a side hustle. So investing in our retirement, investing in our future children's education. And then this graph, you can see this line is where 2020, we went full time and 2020 was 2020. But after that, our financial wealth has really grown, and we've been able to, with Centsei's help in talking about the cap budget system, being able to, instead of just increasing our lifestyle, being able to use that extra wealth that we've generated for investing for our future. And yeah.
I do want to give a shout out. Centsei helped us meet a guy named Rizik, who is here. And so Rizik is our financial advisor and invests this money that we were able to earn early on. And it's been a really, really wonderful blessing. Here's something that I think is just as important as the financial benefits of having your own side hustle, is experiential wealth. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When you own a business, small or big or medium, somewhere in between, doesn't matter, you're going to be dealing with failure, high-pressure negotiations, taking risks, marketing yourself, public speaking, hiring team members, firing employees, extreme stress, navigating taxes, buying products, networking, and so much more. You get to wear all the hats, and I feel like as a 31-year-old, I legit feel like I'm 50 years old with how much experience I've had in business, because there's been so many great things and so many bad things and everything in between that I've learned from. And that to me is invaluable. I really do feel like a different person than I was 2 years ago, just from the growth that I've had personally in the past 2 years that I don't think I would have gotten if I was just focused on someone else's business the entire time. And that roller coaster is a great graph of what entrepreneurship is often like. You ride the highs and you deal with the lows and you make the best of it.
Let's talk a little bit about doing good through entrepreneurship. So Go to the next slide. Some of the ways we've been able to do good have been through the equipment that we own and the services that we provide. So with this top left, during COVID, we were able to light up several hospitals with our lighting and project thank yous and pictures of the essential workers to thank them for during COVID. The top right, we used our lighting to light up the Capitol building a couple years ago in support of Ukraine. And then it's a fun piece of equipment we have is a ginormous blow-up screen, and we've used that with our projector and speakers to host movie nights at a park near our house. So for us, giving back has been using the equipment and services we provide to help other people. We've rented out or loaned some of our equipment to some family and friends. And then, of course, monetarily, we've also been able to increase our donations. We have that line item in our budget that continues to increase so we can give back to family and friends and to causes that we believe in. So we really want to focus on brainstorming for you all about ideas, and I think several of you do have your own businesses already, but brainstorm ideas about what your business could be and understand first steps and resources to creating a business.
And by the way, that's a good moment to ask this. I'm curious, I talked to Connor earlier, who I met. Connor, where are you at? He was telling me he's got 2 businesses. I'm curious, by raise of hands, who has a small business that you currently have? Raise your hand. This is legit. Wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's a lot. That's fantastic. This is great. Well, I hope you guys still gain this next half of our presentation. We're going to be talking about some things that have worked really well for us in growing our businesses. And then raise your hand if you don't have one, but like it interests you to someday in the future do it. Cool. Sweet. That's awesome. Fantastic.
All right, so getting started, go to the next slide. With the financial roadmap that Dan and Michaela were showing, there's the 3 phases, and where on this roadmap should you start? Centsei recommends to start a business after you've moved out of phase 1, after you've built up your emergency fund, and after you've paid off debt. They talked about this. This quote goes really along with what they talked about. It's from the book called The One Thing, and it says, success demands singleness of purpose. You need to be doing fewer things for more effect instead of doing more things with side effects. So when you're in phase 1, that's your singleness of focus, is your emergency fund and paying off your debt. And then you'll have the mental and financial capacity freed up after you're out of phase 1 to then generate business ideas and start.
So let me tell you what I think are 4 definitions of entrepreneurship, okay? I talk to a lot of people and friends who say, Cooper, it's so cool you have 2 businesses, yada, yada, yada. And then I talk to them about like what they're interested in. They say, yeah, I want to start this business, but this, but that, but like it's not going to really be a business. Here's Cooper's definition of what entrepreneurship, business ownership is. I think entrepreneurship is transforming an idea into a solution that helps meet a need or want, simply put. Everyone has different needs, everyone has different wants. There's so many personality types, there's probably going to be a product or service to fit any category you can think of. So I have these 4 distinct, definitions that I want to share. So we have a passion project, which is the top left. A passion project can be a business that does not make money. You literally invest everything back into it, and it lights you up, it fills you up, it helps you do good, it helps you learn, it helps you grow. It's a passion of yours. Passion projects are still businesses, and you're still an entrepreneur. The top right is a side hustle, which I think is a sweet spot. A side hustle is what we all know it to be. It's something that you do on top of your full-time job. Then the bottom left is part-time. You have to start giving less of your time to your full-time job and more of your time to your business. And then you have full-time, which is going full-time with your business and paying for your own health insurance. And so these 4, I want to say, are all business ownership. You do not have to have a storefront and 5 vehicles and 20 employees to be a business owner. It can just be you doing your thing, doing what you love, making $100 a month. That's entrepreneurship.
So generating some business ideas, like Cooper said, pretty much anything you can think of can serve an interested group of people. And your idea does not have to be unique. You do not need to be the only water bottle company out there. So there are 2 categories of businesses we want to talk about. So service-based is often easier to start and cheaper. So things like personal trainer, home organizer, photographer. I know some of you are coaches, hairdresser, car detailing. And then you have product-based, which can be more expensive because you need a tangible good to sell to people. So that could be making and selling jewelry, anything in the food, restaurant industry, building cabinets, sports equipment, kitchen supplies, water bottles, clothing, etc. So again, your idea does not have to be the only one of its kind.
In fact, I'm a part of a Facebook group called DJs of Utah Network. Guess how many people are part of it? 824. There are 824 DJs a part of this Facebook group. I'm one of them. and I have great amount of work. There's plenty of space in any market.
So thinking about what you could potentially do for a business, really lean into what you're good at and what your interests are. So these are 3 questions that you could use to get started. So what do you enjoy doing? What are you good at? And what are your interests? I'm going to give an example of a few on this next slide. So jewelry making. I became interested in jewelry making, made some bracelets for my family, and then had supplies. I'm like, I'm going to start classes. So every other month, half dozen women came to my house, and I taught them how to make bracelets. And this was a passion project. I just did it at cost. I could have doubled it, and I could have made money, but it was just fun for me. So this is a picture of bracelets that I made at one of my classes. Parenting, I don't know if they're here today, but Jessica Jackson's in-laws may be here today. And awesome. So she is great with parenting. She started a podcast. She has a planner. She has online courses. That's something that she's utilized and now has a business from it. Design, my cousin is really great at interior design. She could charge for it. We exchange services, so I cut her hair, and she gives me ideas about what pictures to hang on my walls. Playing an instrument, I have a friend who plays the piano, and she teaches piano lessons and makes money from that. I have a neighbor who sews, she embroiders blankets and sells them on Etsy. So all of these are based around interests or skills that people have that they have turned into a business.
Find your interest, then learn how to profit from it. I think that's something that everyone should hopefully remember today. Is like, if you love wakeboarding, you can make money from it. If you, throwing out random things, if you love soccer, you can make money from it. Like, there's so many ways to make money because everyone likes to invest money into something that they enjoy, and so people will pay you for what you enjoy doing if you can teach them, or you can provide them with a service.
Which is why we like service-based businesses, because you can just start today.
Yes, it's very true. Product-based businesses require some more capital and money, and they're great. It just is a little harder. And service-based businesses, you can go out and like rent a machine from Home Depot to do lawn aeration. You can rent it for a whole weekend. You can book as many clients as you can over the weekend, and then you return it on Monday. And that service-based business only costs you the rental of that aerator. So one thing that I want everyone to take home today too is to jump into it even if you know nothing. I did not know how to live stream a wedding, and that live stream turned into a full production company with employees, and right now we're actually in Salt Lake at the Hilton Hotel doing a whole production for a conference, and then tonight we're at the aquarium in Draper doing a big lighting show for them as well. And that would have never happened if I just said yes and then figured it out afterwards.
One more example of that, we have a hybrid band for DJing where there are several musicians that play along with Cooper, and I was panicked because Cooper's offered this service to a client, and they booked it, and I'm like, Cooper, we don't have any musicians. We don't even have a band. Why did you book a hybrid band? But this principle of just jumping into it, you said it's a hard deadline, and you go for it, and you'll meet it, and you'll figure it out. So push yourself, challenge yourself. So we want to talk now about the first steps and some resources to creating a business. And those of you who already have a business, I hope some of these resources can be valuable to you as well.
So the first, baby steps. This is anyone who just wants to get started, okay? First is to decide what value you want to provide and how to provide it. Keep it simple. I'm going to say it again. Keep it simple. I have so many friends who have these ideas. They're like, yeah, but then I need to buy this, I need to do this, I need to do that, and that's just going to take so much time. Keep it simple. Like, you can probably still do it. For example, you don't need to buy the $5,000 camera to go shoot that wedding. Why don't you rent one from Lens Rentals for $120, and then you get going, right? Next is to generate a name and a logo. We'll talk more about this in a second. Get training in basic equipment, and again, basic equipment. You don't need a $5,000 camera. You can get a cheaper one. Fourth is tell your friends and family, post on social media, and don't be scared. Fifth is to provide your value to one or more people for free. Talk about that in a second. And then sixth is to gather feedback and make improvements. This has been really helpful for me and my team. We send feedback forms to all our clients, and it's awesome to read them when they're like raving, and it's kind of a little harder when they say, hey, here's some adjustments you guys should make. But very helpful. So let me give you the lowdown on my sister's business. So her name is Jocelyn. She's in California. She has 3 kids. And last year she was in a class an online class where she had to build a business. So she and I talked a lot for like 3 months. And she decided to create an organizing business because since she was younger, like literally 10 years old, she would clean our kitchen and my mom's office and our house, and like it looked immaculate every single day because she loved that.
Yeah, she did it for fun.
She did it for fun, yeah, which I never did, which is perfect. And so she created Blissfully Organized. So let's go through these steps that I just talked about on these baby steps to kind of see how they apply. So first, value provided. She wanted to organize people's living spaces so they feel revived. That's the value she wanted to provide. It cost her $0 to figure that out. Next is a business name. She sent 10 ideas for friends to vote on, and then she got a logo designer from Fiverr, which we'll talk about in a second, to create 4 versions of a logo. She picked her favorite one. Boom. That cost $80. Training. She asked to shadow other organizers that she really respected in her area. She followed them on Instagram, and she reached out. And I'll tell you what, guys, I have a lot of people who reach out to me from DJ, or mostly DJing, who just want to talk to me and learn. It feels so good when people want to like learn from me or like ask me questions. You'll be astounded at how many doors and conversations you can get into if you simply say, hey sir, I love what you do. What you do is incredible. It inspires me. Can I hop on a call for 15 minutes and just learn from you? I really would love to kind of follow your footsteps. I have opened so many doors for myself doing the same thing. And so that's what my sister did, and she got on a few calls and learned a ton. The next part of training is she joined a coaching call with a professional organizer named
Organize with Tracy.
If anyone follows her, she's pretty cool. It was $100 for an hour, and she said she came away from that with forms, spreadsheets, and it was so valuable for her. That cost her $100. Now, she did not need to do that one, by the way, but she did. Awareness. She texted friends, she posted on Facebook groups, and she let everyone know what she was now doing, even though it was scary. She called me multiple times saying she was so anxious because she's not a super confident person. You just got to put yourself out there. That costs $0. Next is to provide the service. I told her, because she was so anxious about it, to give her service to 5 clients for free, as long as they left her a review and they posted on social media with their before and after pictures to help her get the word out there. And after every single cleaning, she called me. She's like, Cooper, I think it went well. I don't know. And then she gave a feedback form to everyone, and then she could hear that she actually did an amazing job. So that the gas money of doing 5 free jobs was, we'll say, $50. So total startup cost was $230 for her service-based business, and that's just a really good example of how you can start your business in a very simple way. You don't need to have crazy products, crazy cars, a storefront, or anything like that.
And this ultimately could have been free. She didn't need to have someone design the logo. She could have done it herself for free. She didn't need the coaching call. So she could have started this business completely from free, without cost. So the next stage, the toddler stage, would be the next steps you want to take. So Instagram or TikTok, those are both free to create and great exposure. And then creating your own email address and domain can just take you to the next level. So for example, our email address is hello@charismaeventproductions.com, and our domain, you type in the URL, charismaeventproductions.com, and we'll talk about where you can get those in a minute. Building a website, Shopify is the platform that people use to build a website when they're selling products. That does cost some money. Phone number, it's nice to separate your personal phone number from your business phone number, and that can be free or cost money. We'll talk more about that in a second. And then how are people going to pay you? Are they going to use Venmo or check or Square? That could be a 3% fee with credit cards if you're doing Square. And then having a separate bank account, making it a separate business, and having that business bank account and your personal bank account is really helpful. And then you can see how much you have in there, and you will decide when and how much to pay yourself from that business account to your personal account.
And something that Centsei teaches is doing weekly financial check-ins. And so during our Sunday financial check-ins, Hannah will then transfer a portion from our business account over to pay us. And it's just nice. Even if you give yourself 95%, it's just nice to be able to distinguish the both and have them in 2 separate categories. So here's some resources that I think are really helpful for anyone who wants to get started. First, business ideas. ChatGPT, I personally love Perplexity.ai, both are free. You can literally type in and say, I really enjoy lawn care. In fact, here's my specialty. Give me 10 ideas of businesses that I could start that have to do with this and how much I could charge for them here in Utah. And then it'll give you 10 ideas. And you can say, give me 12 more ideas. It gives you 12 more ideas. I love it. I love using AI to just generate ideas. Next is shopify.com/tools/business name generator. And by the way, we're going in order of those baby and toddler steps. This business name generator, you give it a bunch of ideas and characteristics of what you're doing, and then it literally spits out a bunch of ideas for you. Next is logo creation. I have been on Fiverr.com for 12 years. I have gotten websites made. I've gotten logos made, I've gotten scripts made, I've gotten SEO done. I had a Donald Trump impersonator call one of my friends on his birthday to say happy birthday. There are so many random things that you can do on Fiverr.com, and you don't have to know how to do most things. You can find someone who will create an amazing flyer for you or a logo.
This would also be a place you could go on to provide a service for other people too.
Yeah, that's very true. Next is email address. Keep it simple and use utahhousecleaning@gmail.com, or go to workspace.google and get one that is haley@utahhousecleaning.com, whatever you want to do. Websites, Squarespace, Wix, Shopify. Both of my websites are a bit more complex, so I have to have a website designer to do it because it's on WordPress. WordPress is great, but it's just a lot more complicated. And then URLs, namecheap.com. Everyone should go home today, by the way, and type in your name, cooperbrown.com, and see if it's available and just buy it because it's cool to have, okay? It's kind of like real estate. Just in case one day you become famous, you've got your own URL, okay? But on this too, you could type in and you could say housecleaningutah.com and see if it's available. And if it's available, usually they're about $10 a year to have. And so go on, find some URLs that you like. And so when you're generating your name, go ahead and check to see if the URL is open. And with other resources, phone numbers, Google Voice, I had my phone number. I gave out my personal phone number to clients until 4 years ago because I didn't realize that there was a Google Voice, a free app, a free service that's on your phone. It's called a virtual number. And so whenever you get a call to your business, it pops up on your phone and you know it's a business number or a business call, so you can decide if you want to answer it or not. That's free. We use one called OpenPhone, which is like level 10. It's amazing. It costs money. CRM services app, if you want to do a service-based business, getjobber.com is like the cream of the crop, the best of the best. You can do scheduling, invoices, contracts. You can have like a whole menu of things that people can choose from. So if you're a house organizer, they can select, I want these bins, I want 10 hours of service, I want this and that, and it makes it super easy. And that's all on an app. Udemy.com, you can learn like crazy awesome skills, like whatever you want from udemy.com, and there's a lot of free courses on there too. My two favorite podcasts for entrepreneurship are How I Built This by Guy Raz. They take you through like how all the big businesses started and where they are now and how they got there. Super inspirational, I love it. And then also Build with Layla Hormozi. She's just an awesome entrepreneur, and I just love listening to all of her podcasts. Other things, Fiverr and Upwork are both open marketplaces where you can hire individual people to do things. Upwork's a bit more expensive than Fiverr, but the quality is really good. You could even like go on to Upwork.com and hire a sales rep and say, hey, I want you to find me 10 leads a week for this category. Hey, I want you to help me manage my my rental properties. Facebook groups. There are so many Facebook groups, like literally DJs of Utah Network, and there's 820 of us on there. Search what your category of service or product is, and you're probably gonna find a Facebook group that you can learn from. Find role models and mentors. People love giving back. People love feeling like they're the knowledge king or queen, and they love sharing with other people, so don't be afraid to ask. Call people up and just say, hey, I admire what you do. Can I have 20 minutes of your time? Canva.com, if you're not on Canva, it's the best thing ever. There's a free service too, and you can create flyers, logos, everything that you want. Instagram.com, Hormozi is another great Instagram influencer that I love. And then MailChimp.com, it has a free service. If you want to do like mass emails, you can make them look beautiful. And I think you have up to 2,000 emails you can send a month for free. My favorite book is The E-Myth Revisited, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. It's 120 pages, so if you like me and you hate reading, you can do this one. And it really breaks down entrepreneurship and boils it down to really simple terms of how you can be profitable and scale. And now here's something I believe in this a lot because I've talked to so many people who say, I can't start a business. And I say, why? And I hear so many of these, and they fall into 5 categories. So here's why I think people don't start a business, a side hustle, a passion project, whatever you want to call it, okay? They overcomplicate and they overthink. They think they need all 10 things in line before they can even start on step 1. If that were the case, I would have had to have known how to live stream a wedding before saying yes. I was on step 0, like -1 almost, and you still say yes. Don't overcomplicate it and just keep it basic. Second is not making or trading time. We all have habits that maybe aren't the best, that take up a lot of our time. Hannah and I don't own a TV. We probably watch 1 or 2 movies on Netflix a month. Because we trade our time to do other things that have helped us to grow our businesses and help us enjoy our life in other ways. Third is that ideas are very costly. If you want to design a new shoe, it's expensive. And so this is a very reasonable roadblock of why people don't start businesses. Fourth is that they're nervous about competition. They say, oh, there's someone in Ogden who also builds steel gates as well. And I'm like, and? There's 820 DJs in Utah. Like, just because someone else does it next door to you doesn't mean you can't do it. There's totally a place in the marketplace for you to provide your service or value. And fifth is they're self-conscious of other people's opinions. What if they post it and people go, you're starting a business? Life's too short to care what other people think. Just do it, and don't think what other people think. The fact that you are actually taking a step and you're getting out of the shower and you're actually doing something about it puts you in the top 1 percentile of people who actually do something and taking a step towards their business. The 99% of people never do it because it's too hard or it's too scary or it's one of those 5 things right there.
So we'll talk about the honest truth. So often for us, it doesn't feel like work. Cooper really enjoys DJing. I personally don't DJ. I really enjoy the spreadsheets and the finances and the taxes. But for me, that is fun, and it doesn't feel like work, except for it was a little difficult this year. But second, it can be very emotional, especially when things don't go well. You get feedback from a client who isn't really happy. Your live stream cut out 5 minutes into the show. Problems occur all the time, and hiring and managing other people is difficult.
Other things is that it's easy to base your self-worth off of your business success. I've gotten a lot better at this over the years, but it still hurts me when someone doesn't hire me, or someone does hire me, it like boosts me and then pushes me down, and it's something that I'm working on. 6 is that side hustles are the best of both worlds. Like, I remember I never expected to go full-time with DJing ever, by the way. What I would do is on Fridays, I would get to work 2 hours early, so about 7 a.m. before anyone else was in there, and then I would leave a couple hours early, and I just love that, because if my side hustle didn't do well 1 month or 1 year, it was okay. Side hustles are amazing, and I think everyone should have one, even if it's a passion project. 7th is it's hard. We work a lot. Sometimes. This week is crazy, so thank you for planning this workshop on this weekend. And other months and weeks are totally fine. I also want to point out, if business doesn't interest you, don't do it. It's totally okay. If anything from this whole presentation you've gained is like, I do not want to do that, that's great. That's great that you made that decision. Personally, Hannah and I have zero interest in investing in real estate.
Dallas isn't here, right?
Yeah, that's fine. And we probably will never do it. But what we will do is we'll send our money to Rizik, and then we'll have him invest it, and then every couple of months we'll say, hey, Rizik, is up or down? How are we doing? Are we up? We're up. Sweet. That's all I want to know, okay? I'm more interested in that than real estate, so if this doesn't interest you, it's okay.
So hopefully today we've been able to address these 3 things. We've talked about building wealth and giving back through owning businesses, and then brainstorming ideas about what you could do for your business, and if you already have one, understanding some more resources, or if you don't have one, understanding the first steps to starting and creating a business. And we thank you so much for your time. If you'd like to reach out to either of us and brainstorm ideas, please email us. This is the QR code for our slides if you'd like to see any of those resources later.
Does anyone have any questions before we end? I'll take a couple questions. And this is our whole slide deck right here in our email. Uh-huh.
Well, the 2-year-old woke up at 7 this morning, so I'm with the kids usually. I work Tuesdays. We have a babysitter over Tuesday mornings, and so that's when I do the finances, and then it's sporadic throughout the week. I'm not full-time on it. I'm a few hours a week. And then it depends on how many events we have. With Cooper, it's the office work, answering emails, doing phone calls, the typical 9 to 5-ish, but then when we have events, like this week, he was in Salt Lake and did the 9 to 5, went to Salt Lake, stayed the night at a hotel, woke up early to finish the production at the hotel, and didn't get home until 5 the next day. So it really depends on when we have events and when we don't.
Something I've been doing more and more recently is waking up at 6 to work for an hour or 2, and that way when my girls wake up, then I can spend time with them. Typically it's 9 to 5:30 is when I'm working, and so, yeah.
I think that's all the time we have, but thank you so much. We really appreciate
it. Thank you. I'm going to fix this clicker, so hold on.
Thanks so much. We're going to stall